Paranormal Podcast. My name is David Taylor. I am going to be your guest host today. I'm sitting in for Jay. We got Shane Freak over here. Shane, how are you?
Doing great.
And then we've got the illustrious, and his reputation precedes himself, the man who is the man who if he was on like the Ed Sullivan Show, if you remember, Shane, the guys that used to have like the plates and they would spin them, you know, and then they'd run back and forth of when it was. Brian has so much stuff in the air, and he's so.
That does date us, though.
Yeah, it does. It does. He's got Parapost going on. He's got Parapost Live. He's got Through the Lens with Lex on Sundays. He's got Huntaphobia going on with his investigations. He's got an incredible road trip of a lifetime that's going to start right after the show. He's the SB7 Whisperer, and also he also has a show on Paraflixx. So everyone, please welcome Bryan John Laverty. Bryan, how are you?
I'm great, thank you. That was a hell of a whatever you want to call it there. That was a lot, and it made it sound like I'm doing a lot, but I tried not to get overwhelmed and put things into priority. So
yeah. Well, yeah. You're being a little bit humble right now because you and I are friends, and I know a little bit more on the inside than a lot of people do. So you are a busy guy, so it's actually really, really impressive. So why don't we start talking about one of the good things that's really, really, really starting to take off for you right now, and let's talk about Parapost and really kind of get this pushed out here, because I know things are starting to really move for it. That momentum's going for you. Let's get people signed up and let's get people over there, because this is the Facebook of the paranormal. It's incredible. Go ahead, Bryan.
Yeah, it's been really good in the last month. The numbers have been absolutely incredible, and people are joining up. People are posting pics. People are putting up their videos. People are talking. People are, talking with each other on the site. And that's what we wanted, right? Originally, when we first started, me and Mike, who's my partner, Charm City Paranormal, when I first brought up the idea to him, he said, definitely. But if I knew then what I know now, yeah, it's been a lot of work. It's been a lot of work, and Mike has been absolutely amazing in the background because he's the technical guy. And he does all the stuff in the background. And when we originally got the site up, we were using a platform that we weren't really happy with, but the reason we used it was because we wanted to see what kind of buzz we would get. And if there was any kind of interest in the site. So we went with that for about a month, maybe just under a month, but we were just having so many problems with this particular site. We wanted something changed. They wouldn't change it.
And let me get this straight. You're paying for it, right?
Yeah.
And they wouldn't change it.
Yeah, they wouldn't change it. So Mike was getting really, really frustrated. And then we had a lot of problems with different kinds of hosts.
Okay.
And it was one thing after another. And finally,
go ahead, Bryan.
Finally, we decided, okay, I'm going to hire a developer to actually go into the site and create a whole new site. And that's what we did. So,
and for people that don't know, can you tell them obviously where to go? It's parapost.net. And also tell them kind of the features that are involved with Parapost, because I think this is a really great feature of everything that's involved there. Please elaborate.
Okay. So one of the main features is the news feed, where everybody can go and look at everybody's stuff. We have the option, if we wanted just to make it friends, only see your posts.
Sure.
But we didn't really want to do that because we wanted it to be more of a community, so everybody can see everybody's post and get to know everybody. And if they wanted to follow somebody, they could follow somebody, or they could friend somebody. That was completely up to them.
Okay.
That's obviously one of the biggest features on the site. We have another feature on the site, and it was thought about before we actually started the site. And this is what we wanted to do. It's called Haunted Spots.
Yeah.
So basically what you can do is you can go in there, click on the haunted spots. It'll bring it up. And if you want to put in a haunted spot that you've been to, or maybe something that it's on your bucket list or something like that, you can put it in there.
Mhm.
And then it automatically gets tagged to a map.
Okay.
And that map is the
Geolocation.
split. What's that?
The geolocation.
Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. So when it gets tagged and other people go to the site, they can look at that spot. And if maybe they're going to be in the area or something like that,
Mhm.
they might want to go to that spot. We have a feature up there right now. It's called the Boyd House. They're located in Minnesota. They are a feature on our site.
Okay.
And you can go to that posting, and then you can book. Well, actually, you don't book, but you can go to their website and book your booking if you want to investigate the location.
That's
But
awesome.
that was one thing that we really, really wanted to, feature on the site or bring to the site, because obviously we're all paranormal investigators.
Mhm.
And I think sometimes, and with myself personally, you get to a point where the spots start running out.
Yes.
And you don't want
Yes.
to keep on going back like 4 or 5 times, but
Sure.
Yes.
this is just another option for people to look at when they go into the site. And it's very easy. It takes 5 minutes to post something
Yeah.
in the haunted spots. It takes about 24 hours to approve, or less, and then it's up there and people can visit it. And if they want to book like whatever spot is there, like I think there's 22 spots up there right now.
Yeah. There's something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's going to be a lot more. Anybody can do it. And if you want to put your haunted spot up there, like I said, it takes 5 minutes. You can put up pictures. You can put up links to the websites.
Wow, that's cool.
So even if somebody's watching on today's show and they want to come to Parapost and feature their haunted spot, they can do that. They just have to sign up, or they can email us and we'll do it for them.
Yeah.
Because if they want to be in the featured section, they can be, which is great. And that was something we really wanted to put into the site. And it's really, really good. People are gonna go in there and see spots they've never seen before.
Yeah.
So, and it's great. And that's one of the biggest features that we have. Obviously, we have a few other features like groups. If you want to create your own group page, you can do that. We also have Paraflixx up there. So if you click on the Paraflixx, if you're interested in subscribing, you can click on there and it takes you right to the site. And you can sign up for Paraflixx if you want to subscribe and watch all kinds of paranormal and everything else under the sun, especially talk shows as David. And we also have another thing in the tag lineup, or whatever you want to call it. It's called Shop. And you click on that and it takes you directly to somebody that we're working with. And it's called the Attic Junkie. So we're partners with them and their products, and they're doing extremely well right now since they joined our site, and their sales have really increased. So really at the end of the day, the whole site was made for paranormal investigators, enthusiasts, supernatural, UFOs. If you're into cryptics, anything under the umbrella of the paranormal, it's there. And that's why we wanted to create this site.
Super important.
Yeah.
It's super important to have something like that for us, because Shane, Brian, myself, we all can agree of how many times we've searched for paranormal things in North Carolina, or Jane, you in Wisconsin, or you in Toronto, Brian. You're looking and you have to weed through all this, and there's 92,000 groups and nobody will talk back to you. And finally we have a place of where we can go of oh, this dude's in Florida. Hey man, so is this place legit? And he can get back to you and say, here's this. Make sure when you go to park over here or something like that, or this, or be sure to bring, extra lights or sage or something, because it's really, really scary there, or something like that. So it's a great site. Everybody needs to go to parapost.net and sign up. It's a must have. So
basically what you do is, if you have Android or iOS, you just go to the store and type in Parapost Network and it comes right up, and download it. It's the app is really good. It's something that we're going to be working on more down the road also.
Sure.
But the site in itself is doing extremely well. It's community based, and everybody can talk with everybody. And we just think as it grows, and people are really going to have some good connections on the site, and that's what it was made for. So
Sure. So I have a question.
sure.
So do you guys have like a technical or a training section in it, such that maybe over time I could come up with, some training video type content, or maybe some, you know, deep analysis stuff for the, for the more curious nerdy ghost hunters that really want to get into it deep. I'm
Yeah,
thinking if there was like a training center or something that could be added like that. I mean, I'd make some content for it.
yeah, that's something definitely to consider down the road. But I will
Okay.
say we do have something on the site. It's called events and organizations.
Sure.
Yeah.
So you can go in there, and if you have an event coming up, you can put it in the site. If you have
Sure.
an organization, you can put it in the site. If you have a podcast, anything related that you want people to connect with you,
Sure.
whether it's whatever, like maybe a ghost tour or a
Mhm.
podcast, like I said, or
Mhm.
a TV show that you're on, you can put it in the events and organizations, and people
Okay.
can see it on the front page and say, okay, I might be interested in that. And then when that day comes up, they click over to it and watch, or
Oh, nice.
join, or whatever. So that's
Sure.
something, that definitely something else that we wanted to put on the site, because there's a lot of, let's be honest, there's a lot of ghost tours.
Oh
There
yeah.
are a lot of ghost tours.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there's a lot of podcasts, and there's a lot of shows, and that can all be put up on the site
Yep.
also.
Yeah. I just think, like I said, a training and a reference section.
Mm.
Put up some PDFs with how to get started tips, and then proceed through the more advanced and more advanced. How to do statistical analysis, all kinds of stuff. Put that
Mhm.
have a section, like a training section, as an
Mm.
offshoot for something for the
Yeah.
future. So there's an idea for you.
Yeah, it's a
It's
good idea.
definitely a great idea. But at the same time, you got to remember that you can only put so much
Oh, understood.
until it starts getting a little bit
I mean, you don't want
confusing
to be
for
like
people.
Zuckerberg and have everything go
Yeah.
after everyone.
Well, it's funny because we were laughing before we came
Yeah.
on live, and I'm thinking about putting out a video going,
Uh,
come to Parapost.
we are not evil. Please
Yeah,
come
we're
to
not
us.
evil. Yeah.
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 So everybody make sure to check out parapost.net. It's Brian and Mike's baby, and it's a great site to get to meet other paranormal investigators in the States, internationally, obviously, with Brian and our great neighbors up north. Let's talk about some Paraflixx here, Brian.
Sure.
I know you got a great show on there. You just premiered season 2 last Sunday. What wasn't it? It was with the Greenbelt. Greenbelt. Can you say which one it was? I'm sorry. Greenbelt Apartments.
Well, the season premiere was actually Blue Ghost Tunnel, and
Okay, I'm
then it
sorry.
was a streaming tunnel, and then it was
Okay.
Greenbelt Drive.
Okay.
Greenbelt Drive. It's
If you haven't watched it, you need to watch it. It's amazing. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's amazing. The story's amazing, and it to me it was a little bit emotional too.
Mm.
So
It was a very sad story, to be honest. And when I found out through my friend about this place, somebody who was a follower of mine through Instagram and Facebook and TikTok, she contacted me, and we just developed a friendship and stuff like that. And she wanted to take me to this place. She told me the history about it, and it was very sad. It was basically a murder-suicide. And
yeah.
This guy in the apartment killed his wife, killed his wife's mother, and then committed suicide by setting his place on fire. And it's a really, really sad story. And what even makes it worse, they had a child, and the child was 4. And I did find out the child was 4 because in the video, I asked the SB7, how old was the child? And it said 4. And I found out the child was 4 years old. And it was just really sad. So anyways, when he was getting ready to do what he was going to do, he sent his son outside with a note taped to his body.
Wow.
And the neighbors found the son when the fire started. And They found the note, and they said there was a tape in the car. I guess that was his suicide
Wow.
note or tape or whatever it was. Unfortunately, the tape couldn't be played. Something was wrong with the tape, so they figured since the son was sent outside and the note and the tape in the car, they figured it was a suicide. But what they didn't know was how bad it was. The wife was unfortunately stabbed several times, and I
Jeez.
believe she was even stabbed once in the head.
Ugh.
Wow.
And it's just a really, really, really sad story. We went there not expecting very much, but we ended up getting a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we got a lot throughout the whole complex, just not in room 76 or apartment 76.
Yeah.
We're getting it everywhere. There was one point we were standing in another apartment, and again, the SB7. And I don't know, David, what you say about that, but I asked, is there anybody in this apartment? What's your name? And it said Dan.
Yeah.
So there was a Dan in the apartment.
That's
and
crazy.
It was just all kinds of things happened that night, which made for. I was really on the fence if I wanted to put this video out, to be honest, because of how sad it was. And it's recent. It's only back in 2008.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So it's quite recent. But, you know, me and Zach talked about it, and I talked to the other people that were there with me, and they said, you know what, we should put it up and put it in a way that we're not being disrespectful at all, and trying to get answers. And I actually asked during the video if there's any way we could help you, and it said no. And again, that was through the SB7.
Wow.
So it
SB7
said no,
again.
It said no, nothing. So
okay.
Yeah. So we were very respectful, and it just turned out to be a really, really good video.
Yeah, it is really good. There's one part that I'm going to keep off the air, but I am going to ask Bryan about it when he gets when we meet up for a few investigations about something happened, because I thought it was really creepy. So we kind of started talking a little about equipment. Shane, this is kind of your area. Do you want to talk about what equipment Bryan really likes, what he uses? Let's get into some of your stuff here.
As far as for Bryan's?
Yeah. See, does Bryan, obviously you like the SB7 Sphere box. I've seen some K2 meter action on your videos also. What is some of the other equipment that you like to use? I know there's a lot of people who go with REM pods, LED balls, scare bears, EM pumps, things like that. Yeah. So what is your go-to?
Well, obviously lately in a lot of my videos, it's been the SB7, because my responses have been absolutely incredible. And I really love the SB7. When I first got into filming my investigations, I was using the Necrophonic app. And to be honest, I was really on the fence about, and I'm still on the fence about to this day, because I think it's good in some ways, but I don't know. I'm on the fence about it. And as much as I know a lot of people like it, I like it. I just would prefer using other things.
Shane, what is your opinion about the Necrophonic, Shane?
Yeah. So
sorry, Bryan.
Pretty much. Yeah. So basically, it seems that most of the phone apps are kind of a little hokey, I trust real hardware, real radios, real pieces of equipment, things that have electronics, things that I can take apart and see how they work and make them better.
Yeah. And I understand that.
I stay away
Shane,
from the apps.
Yeah, I understand that, Shane. But sometimes when in the past, when I have used the Necrophonic app and have asked a really, really super weird question, and then I'm automatically get a response to that question, I go, okay, well, if I'm getting a response to a color that I said, what's your favorite color? And they say blue. And I know Dave agrees with me on this because he's done it in the past too.
Yeah.
And when you're getting responses like that, you're going, okay, well, maybe there is some kind of truth to this. Well, but again,
they can interact with electronics. So I mean,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
phone
Yeah.
wouldn't be any different than a radio. But
I,
Yeah.
I,
the only thing I ever say is I don't always trust the developers themselves to not
yes,
put little Easter eggs or little fake
yes, yes,
things in there
yeah.
just to make
Yeah.
their app sell
Yeah.
better.
You
If
know,
I
I'm
wrote the app
sorry, Dave.
myself, I might
Yeah.
trust it, but
Sorry, Dave. I
It's
will
okay.
say one thing. The one thing I did like about the Necrophonic app when signing up to it, they
Mhm.
did not ask for your mic or
True.
anything along
True.
those lines, and like using your mic or your camera or whatever the app asks you to use. That's the only app that doesn't do that.
Sure.
awesome.
So that's why I was thinking maybe there's a little bit of legit, like it's a legit, like a
Yeah,
little bit, but
there's so many opinions about the necrophonic. Everybody has one. We all know the what everybody says about opinions. So it's just
that's true.
it's a great viable option for somebody who doesn't have the money to buy the SB7 or the SB11 or whichever one of the Galka things or whoever makes it. A lot of times spirit boxes are pretty pricey, man. They can get up there, so it's a viable option. And then so I'm kind of on the fence, kind of like you, Brian and Shane. I understand where you're coming from. There was one that I used, and it was called the Portal, and you could use various languages. So I think you could use like French, English, and Spanish, and you could go front or backwards. And so the person I was investigating with at the time, we were using it. We had Spanish on there, and we were playing it backwards, and we were getting some things coming through, but still, I mean, it's just the apps. I tend to fall back on my SB11, just like Brian with your SB7 and things like that. It's just I feel a lot more safe with those. So,
And it's funny because obviously me and Dave have had the discussion in the past where what do you prefer, the SB11 or the SB7? I think they both have their great qualities about them, but I find that people have a tougher time with the SB11 than they do with the SB7.
yeah.
And I don't know why that
The
is,
dual
but
scan thing probably.
yeah, maybe. But the SB7 is just so basic.
Yes.
And there's really not a lot to it. And when I get the responses from there, from an intelligent response, as soon as I've asked the question, I go, okay, well, there's no denying what the SB7 does compared to, again, the Necrophonic.
And I'm not even sure it's really the actual brand or style of device, because I mean, my go-to spirit box is literally a $10 little radio that I get off of Amazon. I rip its guts out and I change things inside of it, and I remod it, and that thing gets great results. I mean, amazing.
Yeah, and that's great. And so another thing I'd like to use, and I don't use it that much, but I love it, is my FLIR.
Oh yeah.
I love the FLIR, and I have the one that you see on the TV all the time with the different ghost shows and stuff like that.
Sure.
That attaches to your phone. I really enjoy that, and again, I don't think there's no denying once you catch something on that.
No,
there's no denying it, and I'm really starting to point in the direction of using equipment that I know is 100% legitimate. And there's no question about it. Like there was one investigation, I used the cat balls, not the light up ones, the regular cat balls, like the little toys that you buy at the dollar store. I got a bunch of those. They have the bell in them. And they haven't moved yet, but I'm hoping one day they'll move. And hopefully I'll catch that at some point. But
if it's got a bell in there, you should be able to hear it.
Yeah. So
a little noise. So
I'm really going in the direction of using stuff that, like the SB7, the FLIR, my voice recorder. I love using the voice recorder. Because again, there's no denying it once you catch something on the voice recording. Thank you. It's exactly. It's back to it's back to basics. And I find when I'm using those particular pieces of equipment, I'm catching a lot more.
And when you use your voice recorder, Brian, which one do you use?
Well, I do have a little one, but I don't use that. I tend to use the one on my phone.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
The
and that
phones are
doesn't really,
they got pretty good mics in them.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely. And that's just
Yeah.
another great thing. If you were just starting out, pardon me, if you're just starting out investigating, there are a lot of options of like, you don't have to get a lot of the more expensive things. Like I wouldn't expect somebody to get a flare right off the bat. When you get a little bit more experience and doing some other big investigations, that's probably going to help you out because you're not really knowing how to use it right away and things like that.
That's a big investment, though, also because they're
Yeah,
expensive.
Yeah.
I was like, well, how much is it just for
It's
this?
like this
Yeah.
big, and it's
Yeah.
like, oh,
How much?
crap,
Okay.
$500 for this? What
I
the
guess
hell is
I
going on?
know, and and there are other options and other sites that you can go to for different spirit box needs, so you don't have to
Yeah.
spend, $400 or $100 or $70 for whichever one. There are different options for people who have it. Of just like with Shane, of they just kind of basically do the same thing. Shane, I know sites that where you can get a spirit box for $20. So it's not super expensive.
It's the exact same thing with the K2 meter.
Yeah.
I like the K2 meter, but I think a lot of times when I'm watching videos, and I'm not saying everybody, you really have to be careful with the K2
Yeah,
meter.
those things. Mauser
Because if you have your phone on,
I picked it up.
if you don't have your phone on airplane mode, and if you're doing a live through your phone, that thing is going to spike
It's
like
going
no
off.
tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
And
it's going off.
so I'm really, really careful. What I try to do with the K2 meter is if I'm going to use it, I try to put it down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know
Yep.
I hold it, but most of the time I try to put it down and walk away from it.
Yeah.
And hopefully something, and usually sometime, well, most of my videos when I'm using the K2, I'm usually getting something. But again, it's one of those things where you have to be very, very careful on, because I think sometimes people misread them.
Oh yeah.
Agreed.
And not understanding, because, and I'm not going to sit here and put anybody down, but I've watched plenty of videos where they have the K2 meter right there and the phone's right there.
Yeah, I
And it's
know.
spiking, and it's like you just want to stream. You just want to
they got 'em
stream
in
through
both
the
in one
screen.
hand.
Yeah, you want to stream through the screen and go, dude, turn off your phone.
They're right by a power source and it's going off.
Yeah. So, but again,
What's going on?
Yeah,
Look
but
behind
again,
you.
that's just experience, though. That's
Sure,
experience,
sure.
And over time, people learn the ins and outs of what they should be doing and what they shouldn't be doing. And again, David has experience, and we all have experience and understand how equipment works.
Yeah.
And like even the REM pod, I'm a little like, I like the REM pod, I really do, and I like what it does. But I've seen quite a few videos where a bug has been traveling up the REM pod and it's gone off.
Sure. And that's why you have to go ahead, Shane.
So,
go ahead, Shane. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they're really sensitive to ion. So especially if it's winter and it's dry, just somebody could walk across the carpet in the other room and it would
start going off.
Yeah.
And that's a really good point that we're all making here of, different equipment for different investigations of where you're at. Christy and I say, and shout out to Christy. Thank you, Christy. We love you. See you tomorrow. Is that, we like to use our senses the most of like, okay, we're here. I'm a big fan of the dowsing rods. So I'll use them to guide me to where I think I need to be, or where it's telling me to be. And then I can go from there. If I feel like I need to use a REM pod, then here we go. If I feel like I need to use the spirit box, here you go. If I feel like it's just if it wants to communicate me with just the dowsing rods, here I go. Chris can feel things. You can feel things around you and understand what's going on. So I always find my most important tool is myself and my senses. Bryan, what do you think about that?
I agree. And as you know, David, a lot of the places that I go into, and, I know a lot of people are finding out a lot about me over, the last several months, but I do consider myself as sensitive. I do see things when I walk into places, not all the time, but I do see them. And I can usually tell when it's a a spirit compared to a negative, compared to a demonic.
Sure.
And they're all different. And that's been since I was a young kid that I've been able to see that stuff. But I truly believe, David, you're right. I think most people guts tell them what's going on.
Yeah.
And if you're walking into a place and you have a bad feeling about a place, it's probably true.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if it's something in your head is telling you that you need to leave, then you should be leaving.
Go home. Go home.
So, but again, when I walk, and like I said, it doesn't happen all the time. And I don't know why it comes in and out with me.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's just because I hid it for so long.
Yeah.
And in the back of my head, I'm still getting that negative talk from my family. But every so often I can walk into a place and I'll see it right away.
Yeah.
And like I've told you this story, David, I walked into a restaurant. I saw one walking with a waiter everywhere. About a month ago, I saw two walking down the street. And so I just basically see them everywhere, but it's just weird why it only happens sometimes compared to other times. And I just can't figure that out. And I wish I could hear them when I see them, but I can't. So
that's different. And then what's really kind of cool about this, because Shane, you're really into the technical and science part of it. How many experiences have you had with somebody that's a sensitive like Bryan, or maybe a psychic or an intuitive, empath, witch, vampire, whatever they are, and then it's been backed up by science, of somebody's gut feeling and backed up by science? Does that happen a lot with you?
Well, to be honest, I haven't really been on many investigations with those type of people.
Okay.
For me, my personal thing is I have the psychic ability of a rock. So basically, I know that I have nothing. And so I tend to be the opposite. I tend not to trust human experiences or humans at all. I'm figuring, okay, if I have a computer that's logging data, it's not biased. It doesn't have feelings. It doesn't have this, and it's not subject to pareidolia. It's not subject to auditory problem. There's not all of these human imaginative internal parts.
Okay. Gotcha.
And so, I'll have a thing running with literally like 30 sensors running in parallel every second, taking readings. And then, we might do an EVP session or something like that. And then I'll correlate statistically. Okay, during the session, did I get differences in these instruments? And sometimes we'll even do things like call them out. Hey, can you guys, touch the magnetic field sensor? Can you touch the plasma ball? Can you, and then we go back, look at and correlate. Okay, during the time that we're saying, hey, did you touch the plasma ball? Was there a change in, the readings coming from the plasma ball? And then we throw it into statistics, and the numbers puke out numbers. If the numbers say things, which they have, there's enough of it happens that I can't find the cause. That's what keeps me going. If I was always like, oh, every time I can debunk it, then I would just stop doing it because it'd be like pointless. But, at this point, certain locations, you just get things that there's too many correlations that line up for it to just be a natural thing happening.
Yes.
And so, but to me, just my personal thing, I trust numbers more than people. So.
Okay. Well, numbers don't lie, man. That's why math and is a universal language.
It's kind of
true
heartbreaking that you trust computers over people.
Well, I mean, in person, I like people, but when I'm logging data and I want to find out if something is true or not, or like that. I
understand what you're saying. I was being.
He's just messing with you.
All right. Well, statistically, this was, I hit statistical probability, and
I was just messing with you.
Yeah.
Let's talk.
Now
about,
you know why. Now I know why you don't like people when people are messing with you.
It's like, all right.
let's.
We'll have to all go on an investigation.
Yeah, it'd be fun. It'd be fun. Absolutely.
Has not even thought about yet.
So let's talk about Brian's two talk shows that he has. We want
Sure.
to promote that a little bit. He's got a couple. He's got one that he does Sundays at 4 o'clock. Is it, Brian, Eastern
Yes.
Standard?
Yeah.
It's called Through the Lens, and that's with Lex Paranormal, and he's out of London, isn't he? The UK.
Yes.
Yes,
Yep.
he's overseas. Brian and Lex have a great show. They've been going strong for about, gosh, what, 4 or 5 months it's been, Brian?
Yeah, it's been about 4 months. Yeah.
4 months, yeah,
Yep.
yeah, with some great content and great guests on there. The banter between these two is great. Lex always looks like he's so tired, though. I swear, because it's like what 2 o'clock in the morning. Well, East Coast, what, it's 5 hours, so 4.
Yeah.
No, it's what, like 9 o'clock. So whatever. So
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 4 hours. But you got to remember, he's been working all day.
yeah, he's been working all day, and he's got to
Yeah.
go home and talk to this guy. Oh, jeez, I'd be tired of that too. So
Here we go.
Then he's got another show that he does with Mike from Charm City Paranormal. It's called Parapost Live. It's about things, all things Parapost. He does have guests on there for a little bit, announcing things about Parapost, and that is on Tuesdays at 8 o'clock. Yeah, I'm sorry, 8 o'clock. So tell the people a little bit about those shows and where they can find you on those, Brian.
Okay, well, Through the Lens, you can find on YouTube, and we have our own channel there. It's called Through the Lens with Brian and Lex. And basically, the main reason why we wanted to start that show was because there's a lot of YouTubers out there that are into the paranormal that are just not growing. And they're putting out loads of content. They don't know what to do, and they're trying to get views. So basically, the reason we bring them on the show is to help them promote themselves.
Okay.
And not only talk about their investigations, but actually talk about themselves. Because a lot of times when you're watching these type of shows, you don't actually get to know who the investigator is, like it's doing in the paranormal investigations. Yeah, you're watching their videos and stuff like that. But we wanted to let people know who they are as people and how they got into it. Because a lot of times you don't see that on the videos, them talking about themselves. It's just about capturing evidence. So me and Lex started talking about doing this and said, okay, we're going to do a show on helping people to promote paranormal investigators. But with saying that, we also are going to do a show every so often calling out these fakers.
Yeah.
So we did a show about 3 weeks ago. Is it 3 weeks ago? A month ago? It might have been a little more than a month ago.
I think it's a month ago.
Yeah. Well, it's since we did that show, that's had the most views.
Yeah.
And it's had a lot of comments.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, a lot of people weren't happy about it because we called out a particular person.
Yes.
And that person, I guess, wasn't too happy either. But anyways, at the end of the day, the show is mainly about promoting smaller YouTube channels. And that's why we did it. And it's been great so far. Lex has definitely grown as a person who, because at the beginning when we first started doing it, you were seeing all kinds of things in the background.
In the background, you had like monkeys, monkeys and toasters and blenders.
But it's had some really good response. The channel's growing slowly but surely. We're hoping that eventually we'll get to a point where we can have bigger guests on and talk to them. But right now it's at a slow pace, which is great. We're not looking to get huge or bigger anyway, but we're just looking to help other people, and that's why we did it. Parapost Live was something that I brought up to Mike to get more attention to Parapost Network, and that's why we started the show. We wanted to talk about stuff that was going on with the site, what's going on in the site. So we'll talk about something within the site or something that's coming up, like a new feature. We talk about that, and then we'll have guests that we're trying to stick with people that are in the site already.
Sure.
And so because there's so many people signing up right now, we want to interview those people that are in the site already so they can talk about their experiences, not only with paranormal investigations, but also with the site too. So, and that's why we developed Parapost Live.
Awesome.
Long-winded, very long-winded.
No, it's nice. Both the shows are incredible. I'm a little biased. I've been on both shows, so I've helped Brian out and guest hosted with him, but I've also been a guest on there. Brian's got some great questions. Lex is, like you said, Lex has come into his own. Mike will come into his own. He's doing well. You know, and so please check those out. Those are on YouTube. Through the Lens is on YouTube's Sunday at 4:00. Parapost live is Tuesdays at 8:00, also on YouTube. Make sure to check them out. Give Brian some love on that one.
Parapost, I will say Parapost live is on YouTube, but it's also on Facebook.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
you multi-stream that one. So you stream that one on Facebook.
That one.
That's right.
I just wanted just to add to that just a little bit, and thank you, David, for that. Really, at the end of the day, what me and Mike and me and Lex are doing is just trying to help other people, and other channels, and that's the main goal of both shows. And if people want to come on the show, just write to me or Lex or Mike, and we'll bring you on. We'll promote you all during the week and bring you on the show and ask you some 4 or 5 questions and hopefully grow your channel. Like we had somebody on Through the Lens last week, and his channel's now growing. People are now paying attention to his channel now.
Travis was great.
Yeah, and you know, he's a nice guy. He's a really nice guy. And in the last week, his channel's grown almost 40 subscribers.
That's awesome.
You know, awesome. and that's the goal. That's the goal, to help other people.
Let's switch over to investigating, and let's talk a little bit of huntophobia and how you have grown since I've known you. Some of the things that are coming up for huntophobia, and some of the things that you would like to see within the next year, if you can do that for us, Brian. Tell us about huntophobia.
That's a loaded question.
That's a real 3 in 1, bro. That's 3 in 1.
Wow. Well, I will say, when it comes to Paraflixx, huntophobia has done really well on Paraflixx, and the numbers are speaking for itself, because I've seen some of the numbers, and obviously me and Natalie have spoken. There's going to be something interesting coming up on Paraflixx with huntophobia, and hopefully that will be starting next month. So hopefully people pay attention to that or see that, and hopefully people will subscribe and watch huntophobia. You know what? Like the way things are going with huntophobia right now, which is really, really good. It's just getting better.
Yeah.
Just better investigation, better places. Sure. Don't get me wrong. I love Canada. I really do. But I want to go to other countries. I really do. And that's why when David invited me down after, unfortunately, Dallas was canceled, he still wanted me to come down for the Paracon there. I wanted to come really, really badly. And I had to think about it for a little while, because it's a long ass drive.
Yes.
And I don't mind driving to like Burwash prison, which was 5 hours away. But when it comes to 12, 14, 16 hours,
it's a long drive, man.
So it's a long ass drive. But, you know, obviously David invited me out, and we're going to be hitting a number of spots. Obviously, we're going to be coming back. Me and Mike are going to hit a spot in New York, which is going to be really great. And I'm just looking to grow the brand, huntophobia in itself, just so more people are watching it, because I love what I do. I love investigating. I love capturing evidence and showing it to people. And again, with the YouTube stuff, I will continue putting out clips. I might even put a video out every so often, but mainly is clips right now.
Sure.
Prior investigations. I'm hoping there might be something else coming up for huntophobia in the next year, and I'm hoping it's going to come through, but we'll see.
Yeah, I just saw that too.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Well, yeah. We'll take a look at the video. So
yeah, to this side, right?
Yeah.
Right there, right?
Yeah, it was right there.
Yeah.
So. Yep.
So hopefully my editor Zach, I have to be honest, my editor Zach makes me look really good.
Zach's good, man. Zach's really good. No,
He
he
makes
really
me look
is,
a lot
dude.
better than I really am, to be
Yeah.
honest. No, I'm just kidding. But Zach is me and Zach are going to be working on something. Hopefully, bring it to. I'm not saying it's going to be, but we're hoping to bring it to maybe Canadian TV.
That's awesome.
So
That's awesome.
it's just growing and growing and growing, and I really enjoyed this ride so far. It's been, some days have been great. Unfortunately, some people haven't been so great that I've been with, but that happens.
Yeah,
It's
we all
growing
experience
pain,
that. Yeah,
you know,
we all
and
experience that. So.
yeah, I know you did, Dave, and I have, and it's just going through those growing pains and just growing and getting better, and that's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah,
So.
Brian's being a little bit of humble. Brian will be coming down to do a crossover event with Our Haunted Lives and Charm City Paranormal. Where we've got 4 investigations in 6 days down here, and then he will go back up into New York with Mike with Charm City Paranormal. But we've got the Devil's Tramping Ground. We've got Lydia's Bridge. We've got Bentonville Battlefield, and we also have a special place that we are not going to name on here because it's one of those places that I want to keep quiet and not let people know where it's at. Because if they did, I'm afraid it would just get spray painted and everything like that. So it's going to be an incredible thing of just investigating 4 nights in a row. Is going to be tough, but we're going to have a really fun time with that. It's my opportunity to, I know Mike, but to actually, hang out with Brian and Mike, and Christy will be also involved with this, and it's just going to be one of those incredible things.
Yeah, when I get back from that trip, I'm going to be doing an which I was supposed to do last night. Ended up not going through because it was raining, which obviously messes up your audio and your equipment and all that stuff. So we didn't end up going. So when I get back that Saturday, I'm doing an investigation. But then right after that, I'm doing a house investigation. And I will tell people, the houses investigations I really, really love doing. I really love them because you can capture stuff that it's unreal. And I can't say the name, but I really want to, but
don't do it.
That's going to be a great investigation. I think I think personally, and if I remember correctly, her telling me, I think they're experiencing the Hat Man.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, that is one of those things that I don't know if we want to delve into that right now, because we're hitting the late mark in the show. But
and then sorry, David. Then right after that, just sorry for interrupting. Then right after that, I'm working on an investigation right now that possibly could happen. That's going to be an apartment building.
Oh, okay.
That is actually. I'm hoping that it's going to come through. It's actually people are still living in the apartment building.
Oh, wow. So are you going to be able to possibly get into certain apartments of where the things have happened?
I'm hoping.
Okay.
I'm hoping.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's so tough. It's so tough when you investigate outside. It's really tough because a lot of time audio is corrupted and things like that. That's where your thermal comes in, and then you can join the two when you go inside of have the thermal and your audio and things like that. Shane, what do you feel are like the pitfalls of when you are investigating outside audio wise?
Most of the places I've been have been, in woods or cemeteries that were very quiet. So I haven't had too much, but occasionally motorcycles seem to be
they're the worst.
They're the worst. They just pick the entire gang goes through exactly when you're trying to start your stuff.
Very true. Very true. So, Chris and Mike from the Wraith Chasers, I was talking to them about capturing audio, and they turned me on to the flare thing, because I thought you could only buy like the big flare cameras and things like that, and I was like, well, I'm not paying like $5,000, and then I saw, you can hook this up to to your camera, and I was like, okay, it is expensive, but it does help out when you're outside, and I've picture. I picked up some really great audience on it at Bentonville Battlefield. I've also got some really good evidence of when Our Haunted Lives was investigating Harmony Hall, and it was just this really crazy thing of the picture that Christy was kind of channeling through was getting hot, so it was turning gold and it wasn't blue, and I'm like, this shouldn't be happening. And then when she let go, it went blue, and when her hands went back on, it went like that. But you could see the imprints of her hands. It wasn't like the heat was radiating and everything like that. So, and then there were a few parts of like when we pulled back of when it pulsed like that and then went away. So very, very strange and very kind of cool things that you pick up with the flare.
It's the two-parter that's coming up at Burwash Prison, the abandoned prison. I use the flare, and I will let people know we caught something on the flare.
Oh, it's the best when you get something on that thing, because you can't deny it.
It's going to be in the video, and it's Zach was you got to send me that flare stuff, and I did, and it's also a couple of voice recordings too.
Nice.
But we captured something on the flare, and people are going to
shoot themselves.
Yeah,
they're gonna have to go to the bathroom. They're gonna have to pause and go to the bathroom.
Yeah, it's really, really good, and I'm looking forward for people to watch those 2 episodes, because Burwash Prison is not only a phenomenal place visually when you have it on camera, but the amount of stuff that I capture in that place the very first time I went there. And David, you've heard those. You've seen those videos.
Yeah.
And this time I captured something on the SB7 that is going to blow people away. It's going to blow people away when they hear it. And
crazy.
See, someday we're going to see him. Every SB7 is going to have a little picture of Brian.
I know, dude. He is a walking advertisement.
He'll have a signature edition.
I gotta send every clip of Brian saying SB7. I'm gonna send it all to Gary Galka, and so Galka can just put it all over social media.
Yeah, it'll be $20 more.
My little picture is going to be on the SB7.
Yeah, right there.
A little signature,
as endorsed by Brian.
Oh, I ask a question in Burwash Prison, and I got an immediate response.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's I use the SB7 a lot in Burwash Prison.
Okay.
I don't use Necrophonic. I use a voice recorder a couple times. I use the thermal a few times, but this response is going to blow people away when they hear it.
Cannot wait to see that.
And you can distinctly, and like I always say with the SB7, you can distinctly hear the difference between radio and actually something coming through.
Sure.
And I can't say enough about it.
It's a great piece of equipment. Yes, the SB7 is, and even with the other modified versions of it, it's still one of the best spear boxes out there.
Yeah, well, it's funny because at the streaming tunnel too, where I told you guys earlier about the other side, moments before that, a woman came through.
Okay.
And I said, can you help us find it, or something along that lines? And the response was, you'll never find it.
Wow.
Which is true. I never did find it, by the way.
Yeah. What was she telling you to find? So no, those are great things. So guest hosting here, we're running up a little bit late in the show. Brian, why don't you give everybody your social media tags and give people a little bit of an update on Huntaphobia, where they can find you, where they can watch you. I know we've been telling that the whole show, but let's just kind of settle on this. Go ahead, Brian.
Okay. Well, the first place you can find me, and hopefully people that are going to watch the show and the replays, they will subscribe to Paraflixx. You can definitely watch my full episodes up on Paraflixx. You can watch me over on YouTube, obviously under Huntaphobia. Right now, basically what I've been doing is putting up clips of investigations, and I'm putting those up. I will eventually put up some videos just to let everybody know somewhere down the road. You can find me on Twitter under Huntaphobia, Instagram, and Facebook. I have two different pages. Huntaphobia is the private page, and then Huntaphobia and Friends is the public page where people can join and they can post whatever they want to post related to the topic of the page. Obviously, I don't want to see somebody selling a guitar up there or something like that.
I'm just
kidding. And then also, I've gathered a very large following on TikTok.
Okay.
And it's Huntaphobia _A_phobia.
Yeah.
And that's really growing. And I will let people know in the room that during the week on our investigations, other than Tuesday, we'll be going live on TikTok with our investigations.
Yeah. Cannot wait for
Tuesday, because normally we do Parapost live. We will be doing a live investigation on Facebook.
Yes.
With everybody obviously there. So we don't know the time yet. Most likely probably be between 10 and 11.
Yeah, a little bit later.
I'm assuming around there, and that will be going live. But those are mostly all my social media pages right there.
Awesome. Shane, do you have any social media places that you would like to inform people about, or are you just kind of like a normal Joe like the rest of us?
Pretty much normal Joe. I mean, watch our Studio 6 stuff.
Okay. Okay.
So,
nice. So do you have anything coming up? Any investigations or anything like that?
Yeah, I got one on August the 13th. Inspiration House over in Ohio.
Okay.
Kind of over by Cleveland land.
Okay.
And we're going to be doing some testing. We actually have some spirit mediums that are registered through the university.
Okay.
That are going to come, and we're going to do some experiments with some plasma balls and some other things.
Nice.
Some double blind studies and some things like that to see if they can interact with these things or get spirits to interact with them. It'll be a 2-night. So we're going to do at night. We're going to do our own investigation like a normal ghost investigation. Then on the Saturday, they're going to come in and do formal scientific type studies.
Okay.
Using these pieces of equipment. So,
dude, that sounds incredible. It sounds like a great crossover of science and feelings, I guess.
Yeah.
You know. So
you're more on the scientific and scientific side. Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
One more thing, David, I just want to mention. Sure. August 15th and August 22nd is when Burwash Prison is dropping on Paraflixx at 8:00. Eastern time, 7. I will say it 7 Central. And sometimes people get confused. I even got confused. But anyways, Burwash Prison Part 1 and Part 2 will be dropping August 15th and August 22nd on Paraflixx. You definitely want to check that out.
Awesome. Well, that sounds incredible with that. So I guess can I give some promotion for myself? I am a guest host. All right.
You do it all the time anyway. So I don't know what's stopping you now.
So everybody can find myself and Christy at Our Haunted Lives. We're across all platforms of Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Make sure to also, if you would like to get booked on the show with Our Haunted Lives on Paraflixx, please contact Christy at christyparanormal@gmail.com for any investigations or bookings. Also, you can contact me at OHL David Taylor at gmail.com. You can also find us going live with Bryan this week. Bryan will be down here in North Carolina, so we'll be doing some Facebook stuff with him and TikTok stuff with him. Obviously, with Paraflixx, our season 3 premieres Wednesday, 8:00 Eastern time with the great Kedrick Olsen. We talk about Nordic runes, talk about Nordic magic, everything about Nords. It's incredible. It's an incredible interview. Kedrick is a great guy. And you know that's pretty much what we got going on now. It's getting crazy. Oh, I did forget. Our Haunted Lives does have a sponsor now, Attic Junkie Paranormal LLC, for all of your paranormal needs. Josh has some really great equipment. He was so nice to rush some stuff out for us. So for the investigations this week, I want to thank Jay Hill for inviting me to co-host a show. I want to thank Bryan for coming on. Bryan, you're awesome. If I didn't like you, I wouldn't have invited you to North Carolina. So
What a guy. What a guy.
I
You know,
know.
there was so many times during the show that I could have said something, but I wasn't going to. And it's like I'm just holding back.
You're just
But
holding back.
I guess I'll see you in about 16 hours.
Yeah, man. Be safe. Be safe on your on your travels.
Thank
And make sure to don't go too fast, man, because you're gonna have a different country's license plate, and that's what all the stadies
Yeah,
look
we
for.
love to catch the Canadians.
Yeah, all the stadies look for that. So so whatchamacallit, Shane, I appreciate you hanging out with me and
Yeah, it's
doing
been
the
great.
show also. You guys are great. Make sure to check out everything about Studio 6 Paranormal. Jay's an incredible guy. Shane's an incredible guy. Bryan, thank you again.
Thanks, Shane.
I'm David Taylor from Our Haunted Lives. We hope to see you soon.
All right.
Thank
We'll
you.
see you down the road.
Bye,
See you
everyone.
guys.
Thank
Bye.
you.